Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about learning disabilities. Firstly, we can see what is meant by impairment, disability and handicap. While we walk on the road, we may see many people with disabilities. Okay, so first we can see what is meant by impairment. Impairment is the loss or abnormality of physiological, psychological, anatomical structure or function. So that is impairment, it depends upon the body. Any loss happens in our body or any abnormality happens in our body organs that directly leads to impairment. Impairment refers to a problem with the structure or organ of the body. This impairment leads to disability. If a person having any impairment in any of his organs, that abnormality or loss will lead to disability. Disability is the restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the normal range. That is a restriction. Okay, our body restricts something to do. Restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the normal range. That is known as the disability. Or we can say disability is a functional limitation. Functional limitation with regard to particular activity. So our body restricted to do something as a normal child or person does. That is the disability. So it is completely related to activity. This disability leads to handicap. Handicap is the limits or prevents the fulfillment of a role that is normal. Due to this disability, a person can't fulfill his normal daily life activities. That is known as disability. That is the related to society. Okay, so if a person having any problem in any of his body parts, we might say he is handicapped. So handicap is that is a limit. Something is preventing or hinders his normal body activities. That is known as the handicap. Let's see some examples. Cataract, that is an impairment. It affects the eye of a person. The disability is inability to read or move around. He is not able to walk. So handicap is the exclusion from school. That is a handicap. Then delayed speech. Delayed speech is the impairment. Disability, inability to speak clearly. So due to impairment, that is delayed speech, he can't able to speak well. So handicap is defective communication. Then motor deficit, that is the impairment. He is not able to perform daily activities. That is related to motor skills or motor activities. That is imbalance or joint stiffness. Due to motor deficit, that is his impairment, he is not able to perform daily activities such as dressing, feeding, walking. That is the activities we do in our daily life. That disability leads to handicap, dependence and immobility. That is, he has to depend upon others for help. Let's see about what are learning disabilities. Learning disabilities are problems that affect the brain's ability to receive, process, analyze or store information. So learning disability is a neurological condition that interferes with the person's ability to store, process or produce information. If a child having learning disabilities, he is not able to read, write, speak, spell, then do mathematics, reason, and also affect a person's then attention, memory, coordination, social skills and emotional maturity. We can see some learning disabilities appear to be passed down from generation to generation. So these problems can make it difficult for a student to learn as quickly as someone who is unaffected by learning disabilities. When we compare with the normal child and child having learning disability, the child having learning disability will affect more. For example, a person who has difficulty keeping things in a sequence may have trouble keeping in order words and letters in reading, spelling, and writing. They feel difficult keeping numbers in order in math and keeping track of a class schedule. Let's see what are common types of learning disabilities. First one is dyslexia. Dyslexia is the disability with reading, that is problems in reading, writing, spelling, and speaking. Dyscalculia, disability with mathematics, problems in doing math problems, understanding time, then using money. Dysgraphia is the disability with writing, problems with handwriting, spelling, then organizing ideas. Then dyspraxia, disability with fine motor skills. It is also known as sensory integration disorder. That is problems with hand-eye coordination, balance, manual dexterity. These are some common types of learning disabilities. Now we are going to learn about dyslexia. That is one of the learning disability. Dyslexia is a neurological disorder that causes the brain to process and interpret written information differently. It affects reading and related language-based processing skills. The severity can differ in each individual but can affect reading fluency, decoding, reading comprehension, and so on. Let's see about the indicators of dyslexia. If a child having dyslexia, he will show some of the characteristics. Poor processing speed for spoken or written language. Poor concentration, then difficulty following instruction, forgetful of words. That is mixing up of letter, names and sounds. Reversing letters B and D, then difficulty in sounding out words, difficulty in spelling, slow rate of reading. Dyslexia is a Greek term. It consists of two words, dys, that is difficulty, and lexis, that is words. It means difficulty with words. Dyslexia is also known as specific developmental dyslexia. Specific developmental dyslexia. Dyslexia is a neurological disorder that causes the brain to process and interpret written information differently. It affects reading and related language-based processing skills. The severity can differ in each individual but can affect reading fluency, decoding, reading comprehension, and so on. Let's see about the indicators of dyslexia. If a child having dyslexia, he will show some of the characteristics. Poor processing speed for spoken or written language. Poor concentration, then difficulty following instruction, forgetful of words. That is mixing up of letter, names and sounds. Reversing letters B and D, then difficulty in sounding out words, difficulty in spelling, slow rate of reading. If a child having dyslexia, he has poor writing skill compared with the oral ability. That is messy work with many cancellations. Then letter reversals, that is reversing letters B and D. Then inconsistent spelling of the same word. Then letter confusion, the unusual sequencing of letters. Then indicators of dyslexia in primary learners reading. Those who having dyslexia will show slow, inaccurate or labored oral reading, difficulty in blending letters together, then difficulty in establishing syllable division, strange pronunciation of words, expressionless reading, deletion or addition of words, failure to recognize familiar words, then poor comprehension of text. These are some reading difficulties shown by the children having dyslexia. Next, we are going to learn about the indicators of dyslexia in primary learners numerals. How they dealing with numerals. Children having dyslexia always confused with numbers and directions. They fail to sequence numbers, memorizing formulae, and difficulty to recognize and understand signs and symbols. So they have failed to understand the directions, which way they have to go. So these are some of the difficulties faced by the children having dyslexia. Next is the indicators of dyslexia in primary learners about time. The children having dyslexia feel very difficulty in learning how to tell time. They may have poor general awareness about time and timekeeping. Then they having confused concepts such as yesterday, today or tomorrow. They don't know what is going to happen in the next. So then also they are having poor personal organization. So these are some difficulties when they learn about time. Next, we are going to learn about the teaching strategies of dyslexic children. There are 4 different teaching strategies are given. First one is a multi-sensory learning, loud reading, break task into small steps, then select and highlight most important errors. First one is the multi-sensory learning. So multi-sensory learning is a whole brain learning. Here, the children can exercise all the senses. So it is easy to learn. Multisensory teaching is one of the important aspects of instruction for dyslexic students that is used by clinically trained teachers in schools. It involves the use of visual, auditory and kinesthetic tactile pathways. That is, they are exercising all the sense organs simultaneously to enhance memory and learning of written language. So it is an easy way to learn and absorb new things in dyslexic children's life. Second one is the loud reading. When they read loudly and read questions loud, that is, the options to give verbal rather than written answers. It also helps to encourage self-correction. So when they read loudly, they can correct themselves. If there is any errors, they can correct their own errors. And select and third one is the select and highlight most important errors. So teachers should select and highlight most important errors, not all errors. Focus on the nature of the error, that is the quality, not the quantity, rather than number of errors. So teachers should always concentrate on the quality of the errors, that is the nature of errors. So we are giving chance to the children to correct themselves. What are the errors they are committing while they read loud? The last one is the break task into small steps and allow adequate time for completion. So if we are giving a task to complete the students within a time, we have to break the task. What are the work we have assigned for the students? We should break the task into small steps. So it will easy to complete the task within the time limit. And we have to give adequate time because these children learn their own pace. So we should provide enough time to complete the task. It will help the children with dyslexia learn more and achieve or score more marks in the examination. Now we are going to see about the reading activities for dyslexic children. As we know, dyslexic students have a learning difference. Their brain can't hold information as efficiently as non-dyslexics, often making their learning slow, difficult and at times impossible process. So we can provide some reading activities for them. First one is the words. We can provide different words, familiar and decodable. So when we give more familiar words, they can easily remember and learn the words and memorize the words. Also, frequently used sight words. So teaching sight words through extensive repetition. When we repeat the same words many times, it will easy to catch their mind. Then words short and do they have closed syllables. Sentences short and direct. The given sentences should be short and direct. Also, the font size should be 12 or higher, so they can see clearly, and the letter should be precise. If we are providing materials to read, the letters and the font size should be clear and precise enough, so they can learn and benefit the learning. Students with dyslexia often benefit from visual aids. If we are providing visual aids while teaching, they will be more benefited. While learning to read and recognize letters, so we can provide visual schedules or visual images for better learning process. Also, we can use large print text for worksheets. That is the font size 12 or above 12. Use audiobooks like those available through services like Bookshare, a free online library for students with disabilities. Bookshare makes reading easier and they can easily find virtually any book they need for school or the joy of reading. Then allow the student to use a text reader like a reading pen or text to speech software. That is a line reader. A line reader magnifies and highlights the portion of text over which it is placed. This helps dyslexic readers move through a book or worksheet and keep their place easier. So it will hinder or accelerate the learning. Use speech to text software to help with writing. Also, provide extra time for reading and writing. Give them plenty of time to complete their homework. If a piece of homework takes a day to complete, distribute it on a Friday so that the dyslexic child has the whole weekend to work on it. So they will get a plenty of time to complete their assigned task. Then give the student multiple opportunities to read the same text. If we read the same text again and again, they will by heart also understand the meaning of the text. Also the spelling. They can spell the word easily and correctly. So they will remember the spelling. They can use pocket spell checkers. The dyslexic learner types a word how they think it is spelled, often phonetically, and the spell checker will return a correctly spelled match. This helps the child strengthen their confidence in both writing and spelling. So the pocket spell checker helps them to check the spelling of the word. Use reading buddies during work time. So these are the some of the. Also we can give colored keyboards. Colored keyboard. A keyboard with colored overlays and large letters make typing more accessible to dyslexic students. So they can attract also they enjoy their work and learn. So it will help them to accelerate their learning process. The teacher can involve the children with dyslexia for group activities. The instruction group of no larger than 4 group. The group should contain small group of children. So when they participate on group activities, this would improve their communication skills. Also, teacher should provide a quiet space to work with any disturbances. So these children, as we know, they will distract easily. So teacher should arrange a classroom with a positive environment and without any distraction. Groups at least 3 times a week. So these group activities will encourage them to learn actively in the classroom. The teachers can also work together with the specialized teachers, so they can learn. They will get an opportunity to learn how to handle these children with dyslexia. Then some early intervention programs. They can listening to audio books as an alternative to reading. Also, typing on a computer instead of writing. So these are the some activities. They can use colored keyboard. These will attract the students or learn without boredom. So it will help them to learn or repeat the words they are struggling with. So they can read and learn new words in the classroom. So these are some of the teaching strategies to help the children with dyslexia. Dear students, shall we recall the topic we have learned today? We have learned one of the learning disability, dyslexia. The brain is to make the shape of letters it should make it. It almost for the disabled person to like a normal person does. Let's see the symptoms. Mixing up of sequence of letters, have difficulty in sounding out new words, lack fluency compared to other children their age, reverse letters and numbers when reading. Read so SAW as was. Very poor handwriting, distorted words and numbers, different spellings for the same word, missing out the letters, adding extra letter or sometimes, for example, written went WHENT instead of went WENT. Writing mirror images of letters means writing B for D and P for Q and vice versa. Some of the teaching strategies we have learned. Multisensory learning. Multisensory activities help dyslexic children absorb and process information in a retainable manner and involve senses like touch and movement alongside with sight and hearing. Then physical activities to practice spelling. Use pocket spell checkers to check spelling. Use line readers to magnify and highlight the words. Group activities, repeating the words. Teacher should create a positive environment for the learners. Always encourage the children to learn something. Then teacher should give more time for thinking and answering a question. Provide title pictures, chapter names and bold-faced words in order to make a prediction. Give enough time for them to learn and submit their work. So these are some of the important points we have learned about dyslexia. I hope all of you understood this topic. Thank you for listening.